boys and girls. Today we're going to take a look at our spelling list for the week. We are on spelling list for week number 18. If you want to pause this at any time so that you can write anything down, please go ahead. This is just going to be exactly like the way that we do our lists together on the smartboard, but instead you're going to do it on the computer, listening to me go over the rules with you. So if at any time you or someone in your group needs to pause it so that you can copy something down, go ahead and do that. And please be respectful of one another, that you give everyone in your group the time that they need to copy something down before you start playing it again. Okay, if you want to go ahead and write the date down for the week, it's listed on the board. Go ahead, pause this, and write the date down so that you know what week we are doing the spelling list for. Okay, up in the corner, we have our homework for the week. Write all of your spelling words using rainbow colors. And we've done this many times before. You can write each of your words in a different color if you choose. You can write each word in many different colors if you would like to. The only rule is to please make sure that you have them on notebook paper, that you have your number down the side of the margin, and that you're writing neatly on the lines. Okay, let's go ahead and get started looking at our homophones for the week. Okay, our homophones, we have our first set is cell and cell. And the first kind of cell up at the top, C-E-L-L, that one you're pretty familiar, you should be pretty familiar with, because it's probably the type of phone that most of you are familiar with. Okay, so it could be a cell. Whoops, let me see here, phone, or a cell is actually something very small that makes up something else as well. So we'll put that a small, whoops, small part. And you know what, let me go ahead and kind of blow this up a little bit so that you can see it a little bit better. It's not so itty-bitty for you. Okay, so a cell, it could be like a cell phone or a small part of something. It's a small part that makes up something larger. Okay, the second kind of cell down here is another cell that you're very familiar with, and this is the cell that means to sell something. It's a verb, to sell something. Okay, and this one, it's pretty easy to keep these two straight if you know a little trick. And let me see, I just want to scooch this a little bit. And that is this one, sell, that means to sell something, starts with an S. And you can remember that because when you sell something, you get what for it? You would get money for it, right? And a money sign is made with an S. So that will help you remember sell with an S is sell, like is the verb to sell something. Okay? All right. Whoopsie. Sorry about that. Let me go back to the large screen so that you can see this really well. Okay, let's go down to our second set. We have peace, P-E-A-C-E, and this means like calm, okay? Peace and calm, peace and quiet. So I'm just going to, right next to that, I'm going to write calm. Okay? The second kind of piece means a portion of something. And this one would be like a piece of pie. And there's a really, oh goodness, I need to stop doing that. There's a really easy way to remember this one too, and to keep this one straight. If you look at the word piece, P-I-E-C-E, you can see there's a word in there that you might have a piece of sometimes. Sometimes we have a piece of pie, a portion of the pie. So that can help you remember. You might even want to draw a little piece of pie. There's my pie, or a piece of pizza pie if you're Miss Macavina. So if you can just remember the word pie is part of piece, that means portion or a part of, then you'll remember, you'll be able to keep them straight. It's also important to remember you make the S sound in both of these with a C, just like the cell that means a phone or a small part. Okay, let's take a look over at our high frequency words over here, our sight words. We have other, ready, together, water. Please make sure that you go over those this week and memorize how to spell them because they don't follow a pattern, so you need to make sure that you memorize those. Okay, let's take a look down at our pattern for this week. Okay, our pattern is 2-syllable words with Y at the end. When a 2-syllable word ends with an open syllable Y, the Y makes the long E sound. Okay, we talked last week, boys and girls, about open syllables, and we talked about how the open syllable ends with a vowel, and the vowel makes a long vowel sound. Okay, so in these, the open syllable ends with a Y. Whoops, oh gosh, I need to stop doing that. Ends with a Y, and the Y, instead of making the long vowel sound that a Y makes in an open syllable, is a long E sound. So jelly. We have 2 syllables. I'm actually going to change my pen color. We have, let's tap that out again. Ready? Let's clap. Gel. I hear the J, E, L. So I'm going to put a line right here to separate my syllables, and my second syllable, li. There's another L there. Please make sure that when you're spelling these words, some of them have that double consonant in it. And they have that there because that sound is found in both of the syllables. So let's tap it out again and let's make it over here. Gel, li, J, L, L. That one's easy. J, E, L. Okay? Now, let's tap out the second one. Li. L. Y. That Y makes the long E sound. Our next one is penny. And do you hear it when I say it in both syllables? Let's tap it out. Penny. You can hear the N in both of those. So let's tap out the first syllable. P-N. P. E. N. Knee. N. And then remember, we make that long E sound at the end of a word with the Y. All right, let's try another. Our next word is silly. Tap it out or clap it out, please. Silly. Okay, first syllable. S-I-L. I'm going to build that. S-I-L. Okay, Lee. L-Y. Okay, very good. Okay, now how do you know that this L and this N and this L are all part of the first syllable? Well, you can hear it when you clap it out. Jelly. Okay, and this first syllable has to be a closed syllable since the E makes a short E sound. Remember, the E would make a long E sound if it was the end of the syllable. So if the word was like this, G-ly, that's how you would pronounce that. That's not how we pronounce it. So you need to make sure that L is there to close in the E and make it say the short vowel sound. Okay? All right. Now let's look at this next word because this one's a little bit different. I don't see a double consonant here. There's only one F and one T. Let's clap this one out and see how it goes. Ready? Fifth. I hear if. All 3 sounds in the first syllable. I. I need that consonant there to close in that I so it makes the short sound. T. That T is part of the second syllable along with that open syllable Y. So we don't need two of those. Oops. We don't need two of those because there's one in each syllable. Okay? Second row is exactly the same. Puppy, you hear that P in both, so make sure you put a P in both. Dizzy, you hear the Z in both. Plenty, do you see where that break is? In fact, let's go back with our pen and quickly separate these syllables. You do it with your pencil. Penny, silly, 50, and we can underline that open syllable, L-Y-T-Y. And over here, pup, P. Don't forget to have that double consonant in the middle, so one is with each syllable. Diz, Z. One's with both. Next one, plen. There's our break, T. Okay, next one, emp. Ooh, there's a couple there. E-M-P. T. Boys and girls, if you tap each of these out with your fingers when you're spelling them, you should not have any of these wrong on your test. You should do just fine on your test. Okay, our next one is, these are a little bit different, so let's talk about them. We have lazy. That makes a long A sound. Let's tap it, let's clap it out and see why. Lazy. I heard L-A in the first syllable. Ooh, that's an open syllable A. It ends with that vowel, so that vowel says its name. Now I hear in the second syllable, Z. I have the Z and the Y. So you don't need a double Z because there's not one in each syllable. This A ends the syllable. Oops, so let's go back. Let's break it into two syllables and underline the second syllable. Next one, pony. Same thing, that's an open syllable O. Okay, tidy. The I is the end of the syllable, so he says his name. DY is the second syllable. And our last one, baby. There we go. B-A ends the syllable, and the next syllable is B-Y. All right, boys and girls, so there is your spelling list for the week. We have it all set to go. If you want to pause this and write anything down, please go ahead, and as soon as you're finished with this and your whole group has finished, you can stop the video, slide your spelling list back into your plastic in your binder, get out your agenda, and your agenda pages are listed on the desktop. So you can open that, and together you can fill those out and leave them out on your desk to be stamped. Have a great afternoon or morning.